Hello and welcome to Quassi's Bell Tower with your host, Quassi. And today we are going to work on magnetic tiles 2.5. Yes, 2.5. And hopefully that will be the last version of these magnetic tiles. First of all, before I even get into this, I want to apologize for not making any crafting videos lately. Winter's been pretty crazy here in New York. I mean, I could come up with all kinds of reasons why I haven't done any videos. I do suffer from anxiety and depression, and sometimes that keeps me from being motivated on even attempting to do any crafts. But also I have been working on my Bloody Bucket Tavern that's from RPG Crate. That's been a very slow process. But I'm getting there. I'm almost done with the first level of that building, and I'm going to be starting the new level hopefully in a couple weeks. But I also have my buddy Brian coming down actually from New Hampshire, and we are going to be shooting our third season of Point Rock Review, which is our beer channel review. So if you want to check that out, I'll put a link up. You guys can check that out. But let's get to it. Let's get through it. And let's start with a 3x3 block. And this is your basic dungeon tile. Pretty much like Black Magic's. He uses a 1/2 inch insulation foam, and I only to find 3/4 inch or bigger. I cannot find the halves where I'm at. So we're going to go with the 3/4 like I did with the other ones. Now, if you've seen my previous videos, you've seen that in the 2.0, I actually take 1/4 of this and I cut that layer off, and then I take the other part of this and I take, like, I think it's an 1/8 of an inch or a 1/16 of an inch off each side to make it thin, to put the magnetic strips that I got at Walmart for, of course, 97 cents. But we're going to do something different. We're not even going to cut this. We're basically going to put our grid on it if we want, or just use one of the rollers here from Green Stuff World, and just do that. And I think that's all I'm going to do for this video, because this whole thing is just all about the magnets. Now we're going to get rid of the magnetic strips. Yes, they worked, but they did have a problem with them lining up straight and everything else. I think maybe it's the way they cut them in the factory. They're just not, they just don't work quite right. So we're going to go with some magnets that John from Dungeons and Glue Sticks started using. I have them in a medicine bottle because they're so small, but he started using these 2x3s. These are what I have left of my mags. There's like 150 of them in a thing. And they're just 2mm by 3mm magnets. At least I think that's the size of it, if I'm correct. I will put a link down of where I get mine from on Amazon. And I won't be getting any kind of kickback from Amazon. I don't do an affiliate thing. Maybe when I hit 1,000 subscribers, I'll give it a go. But for now, nobody's making any money except Amazon. So we're going to use these little magnets. They're really, really, really tiny. You probably can't even see that at all. But that's all we're going to use. We're going to put 2 on one side, 2 on the other, put some wire nails on one side and on the other side, and we'll make 2 of these, and I'll show you how they work and how they can work like that. So let's get to it. So we got our 2 3x3 3/4 inch thick insulation foam. So all I'm going to do is take my little roller, and I am just going to press this on and put some pressure on it and just roll this through. And just put some pressure on it so you can get that texture in there. And then we'll do the other one. Now, I do have other rolls from Green World stuff, but I'm just going to use these rolls because it's just quick and easy. Okay, so the next step we're going to do is we're going to draw the lines on here so we can get the magnets and the nails in there. And just to let you guys know, I just use these wire nails that I got from Walmart. They are 17 gauge and they are 1 inch long. You could go with a shorter one, I guess, if you can find them shorter than that, but these work just perfect. So I'm going to use those. So as I can see, one of my tiles here, which was just a scrap tile, is damaged here. So that's going to interfere with this a little bit. So I might have to sand that down so it goes flush with the other blocks, because I can see that's going to be a problem. But the other sides will work out fine because they are nice and smooth. So I'll probably have to sand that one down. But for now, we are going to take our 3/4 inch tile and we are going to measure it out. Make sure it's still 3/4, which it is. And what we are going to do is we are going to put it at the 3/8 mark, if I'm correct. Let me check because this one's all in metric here. And we are going to put it right pretty much at the middle. I'm going to go 3/8 because that's what I prefer. So I just put a dot in one spot and then I put a dot on the other side. And then I just draw a line from that dot to that dot, actually all the way across from it. Just like that. And I'm going to do this on all 4 sides. And then we'll get to the magnets. Okay, as I was drawing my lines on the side of the squares here, I thought that my measuring's going to be a little difficult, and I probably can't get it just straight, which pretty much I did. But I thought the easiest way to do this would be to use your Proxon. Set it at 3/8 depth, turn it on, and just gently just have it tap that line just enough so you get your measurements. And then you know that it's perfectly square around it the whole way. So I'm hoping you guys can see that. But I'm going to set it up just like that. Okay, now that I have my lines done, and they're all should be perfectly lined up and even, we are going to pick our spot, which I am going to go in, let's say, you could go in a 1/2 inch or you could go in a 1/4, whatever your distance you want, and just kind of mark it with a pencil. Just, you know, kind of put a little dot in there. That's so all. Now that I have my 2 holes on all 4 sides, what I will do is I will take a small drill bit. This one I'm using is actually a 1/8 drill bit. It'll be big enough for the magnets to go in. And what I do is I'll set the drill bit right on the hole where it is. But I don't, I go kind of backwards with the drill bit instead, so it's not eating at the foam, because sometimes it will rip the foam insulation. So I just kind of go backwards and push it in and kind of twirl it, and that will make it big enough to fit the magnet in. So I just do it that way. I notice if you go forward and like drill into the foam, like I said, it will tear at it. And you don't really want that. And the magnets aren't going to be hard to put in. Neither are the nails. So actually what I should do, now that I'm getting way ahead of myself, is your 2 spots for your magnets, and then flip it over to the opposite side. Do the same thing. And then with the other ones, you would take your wire nails and you will pop your wire nails in there. Try to make them as straight as possible. when you're putting them in. And you're going to make them kind of flush right with the foam. And then you will flip this over and do this side. Okay, I will go ahead and do this one off camera so we can move this video along. But next we will take some glue here and on the other side and put our magnets in. Now the only reason I put 2 nails here and 2 nails here and then the magnets here is the magnets will stick to the nail no problem. Now I could put magnets on all 4 sides. The only problem with that is these magnets are so small, you're going to want to make sure that the North Pole and South Pole, you know, they're matching up the way they're supposed to. If not, they're going to repel each other and they won't stick. So the best thing to have the magnets stick on is the nails. So when you're doing this, you're going to have to really think of how you're doing this. Like this is going to be the front and this is going to be the front of that one. You're going to have nails in this one and magnets in this one so they stick. So you're really going to have to pay attention to how you're doing that. If you get the magnets to stick together on both sides without them repelling, that's great. Do it that way if you want. I just found it a pain in the butt because the magnets are so small. And you want to make sure they're actually sticking to each other. That sometimes you put them in wrong, and then next you know you got the magnets repelling or whatever. So I just do it this way, and I've seen that John in Dungeons and Glue Sticks kind of does the same thing. It just makes things easier. Okay, now that I have my glue, we use the Eileen's Tacky Glue. This is the glue to use. I have not really had any problems with any of my magnets in my projects coming out with the tacky glue. The stronger the hole, the better. You know, you don't want to use super glue because it's just going to eat at the foam, and you don't want to use regular PVA glue or regular Elmer's glue because you don't. It takes too long to dry, and it's not as strong as the Eileen's Tacky Glue. So we'll use that. So then you're just going to go ahead and put this in there, put some glue. Do the same thing with that side. Okay. You don't want too much glue coming out along the edges, so just wipe that off, no big deal. Okay, now take your magnets and gently just put them in. Now the hole that you made will be big enough for this magnet. It might be a little tight, so you might have to push the magnet in. But you want it just to be flush with the foam here. So when you're drilling your holes, don't go too deep. You don't have to go very deep at all. If you push this magnet in too far, then you might not get the hole you want. So those 2 are done. And now we will do the same thing with the other side. We'll just do the glue. And then same thing, put the magnets in. Make sure they're flush with the foam. And there you go. That one is complete. Now, if you want, you can wait to put the magnets in until you're done painting your tile. That's your call. That's probably what I should have done. That's kind of what I've done with my tavern so far too. But I wanted to show you how that is done. When I come back, I'll have both pieces done and painted, and I will show you how easily they work. So there you guys go. There is the Magnetic Tiles 2.5. All complete and assembled, easy to take apart, easy to put back together, holds up quite well, very strong. And these magnets are so small and so strong. There you go, Magnetic Dungeon Tiles 2.5. Yes, they're just a little different than the 2.0s I did, but they're easier to make and you can make them a lot faster. And like always, ring that like button like a hunchback. Until next time.